Hey everybody, welcome to the Sunday edition here on the Fifth Column Network. I am Trezene, host of Prime News, and I am joined with two great guys in the studio today for today's show. The Reggie Mathis.
What's up? How's everybody doing? Good?
Oh, I'm feeling great after this weekend's events.
Yeah.
And we are joined on the blue couch, the Revolution. Say what's up.
Hey, howdy.
Howdy there.
Got quite a bit for y'all today.
Yes.
It's quite a few topics, but we're definitely going to hit on Universal Fancon and the crazy fiasco that went down beginning Friday and its cancellation of its event a week prior to the con. We're also going to talk about Kanye and his comments with regards to Candace Owen, a conservative black woman who's on the right. We're going to talk about Barbara Bush's funeral and Trump's not attending. Tiffany Haddish in the video where she's going clean off she's going clean off about a TMZ staffer who pissed her off. And then lastly, it is prom season, so we're going to talk about the trend of dads going around taking pictures with their girls with guns in the photos. But first, we're going to start off straight up with Universal Fancon. No need in even trying to tease y'all. Yeah, get ready, crack your knuckles, drink your water, your mimosa, whatever you're doing right now. We're just going to jump right on in with Universal Fancon. And I think first up, we should just start with the timeline, y'all. The timeline of the cancellation of this event. For those who don't know, FanCon was scheduled to be next weekend, April 27th through the 29th in Baltimore, Maryland. And on Friday, this tweet right here behind me hit Twitter where someone said, "Hey, Universal FanCon, just got an email from the Hyatt stating that the room you booked for me has been canceled. Please advise." And Hyatt concierge said, "Hey, we've been advised that the group has canceled this event with the hotel, signed lovely Jen M with Hyatt Concierge." And it turns out, indeed, that the event had been canceled not only with the hotel, but at the Baltimore Convention Center, where the event was supposed to take place. And
Hold on, weren't you supposed to start out with something?
Oh, I was. Oh my God, I forgot. This is why we have a team of people. I forgot. It's even on my notes. I'm sorry. Let me back up. Have to make some disclosures.
Okay.
Just 2 disclosures here for the Fifth Column Network. We pride ourselves in our journalistic integrity.
Something that doesn't necessarily exist anymore on the interwebs, but we're FCN. We take this seriously.
We do. So first things first is Universal FanCon had a Kickstarter video that they had, so you can get a sense of what they were planning and what they were trying to throw and create for black geek culture. And that video was created from scratch and edited and produced by the Fifth Column Network, specifically The Revolution, and the voiceover that you hear on that video is Jayco. And so we want to let you know that we were the ones who did that video. We were not compensated for it. We did it completely as a favor for someone that we knew on the Universal FanCon team. So wanted to let you know that. And then the second thing is, I personally, as a PR consultant, had a contractual relationship with Jamie Broadnax of Black Girl Nerds, who is listed as a co-founder of Universal FanCon, as well as the director of community outreach. That contract was probably signed about 6 months ago, but nothing ever materialized in my job to help her monetize the brand of BGN. So definitely need to let you guys know that, so we don't pull a... No. Oh, and no monies were received with regard to that as well. So we don't want to pull a Sean Hannity here and
not disclose
relationships, and let you guys know that our reporting here certainly would not be biased or affected by that relationship. All right, is that good, y'all?
That's good.
Okay, that's good. All right, roll back to the timeline where the ish hit the fan on April 20th because people got emails from the hotel saying their rooms for this event was canceled, and they had not gotten any notifications from Universal FanCon that this event had been canceled. Can we just stop right there and talk about that?
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, let's before you take your note there. So let's what we know. Let's talk about what we know. Okay. So the convention hotels apparently didn't receive full payment in time to keep the room blocks reserved.
And can I say that I have reached out to the convention center as well as the hotel for comment and confirmation. The convention center won't respond, no comment on that. But it has been confirmed that the hotel didn't get its particular payment.
Okay. And let's also I would like to add too that not only in a disclosure, but we reached out to members of the Black Geeks and Jamie Broadnax herself because we felt after discussing that excuse me, that it got really messy and very personal.
Very.
And so I thought when we all were having this conversation when Friday when this stuff kind of came out, to reach out to them and say, hey, let us give you a platform to have a dialogue about it.
Right.
So people can hear your face. I mean, see your face, hear your voice, and you kind of have a platform that's very neutral, that's not looking to do you in or trip you up.
Right.
And what you said, well, you said, because I think we'll get into more of that. But we reach out to them. Neither parties responded back saying, hey, yeah, let's do that. I think that'll be good for us, or even a representative come and speak for them.
Right.
So we want to put that out there that we did, in fact, reach out to them.
We did.
In regards to coming on to, share their side of the story. So with that being said, again, hotel didn't receive full payment for the room blocks. And we'll talk more about the room blocks, right, Reggie?
Yes.
Okay, the convention center removed the conference from its schedule because they didn't know if it was still happening. Yesterday, so this will be Friday, before things went down, at least one staffer resigned.
Yes, her name was Melanie Dion.
Okay.
At Beauty Jackson.
Okay. A Twitter follower named Jasmine_Joyner found out that the VP of their con ops was labeled a serial convention scammer. One of the con founders tweeted blaming the hotel for canceling everything without warning. This founder has deleted all his tweets about the cancellation and locked his Twitter account. I believe the person that they're speaking about is Darth Geekonius, better known as Robert Butler.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Then the con was allegedly contractually obligated to give 60 days notice prior to cancellation to avoid putting their attendees into financial hardship.
Yes.
And then after that, everyone's statements went out. So, yep.
Yes, they did indeed. So the first statements that went out was actually by Fancon on Twitter. Okay. They were like, we see your tweets, your messages, your concerns. We will have a full update later today on the status of the convention. We realize the immense severity of the situation, and our teams will be working to address everything as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience and understanding. That was at 2:15 p.m. on Friday. So there's that. Can I just say right then, that ish was wholly inadequate.
Yes.
Right, that statement there was inadequate. I think what was really pouring salt in the wounds is that statement that they made everybody wait for came nearly 12 hours later.
It was pretty much in the heat of the night, and they dropped the ball in grand fashion with these statements.
Very grand fashion. And then when that second statement did get finally posted on their website, it was a long one. And I can tell you that after people read it, it really pissed Twitter off big time. It took really no real responsibility for what happened. It basically said that they had a financial deficit, and so they had to postpone it for that reason. There was no listing of any refunds that would be offered. Everybody was just going to have to deal because they had to deal because they put money in too, so they were losing too. And invited them to come see a movie.
Hey,
because of the cancellation.
We're still putting on this Infinity War, so y'all can come see that.
People was pissed. After people showed their festivity on Twitter, Universal Fancon Board continued to alter and update and edit their statement to reflect what they were reading but never really coming out and speaking. So this statement was also issued with no name attached to it. There was no face. It was just, hey, this is what it is, a bunch of FAQs and that. So it was all a mess. It was all a mess.
The first thing that they should have done, I mean, is just jump in front of the situation.
Absolutely.
We've got phones, we've got Periscope, we've got Instagram Live, we got Facebook Live. You get on, you tell, hey, this is exactly what happened. This is the money that we were dealing with. This is the situation. And you cannot go into hiding. And I say this because the platform that made you will defame you quickly. You cannot act like you are the same way that you hop on to trash other people. They will do the same thing to you.
Yes, they will.
So you have to get out in front of it.
Yes, you will. I agree with you 100%. I do crisis management in my day job. And reading the first paragraph, I went, oh my God. Like, low key, your first statement should be, we effed up, fam.
We fucked up.
We effed up.
Ooh.
We were in over our heads. We didn't know what we were doing. And there was a moment when we could have turned around and made this better, and we chose wrongly.
Okay.
That should have been it.
Okay. So I kind of want to, for me, I want to unpack there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to unpack there.
Yeah.
And so my opening salvo in this, and I want to be very definitive to each and every one of you who's out there, the tens of people watching on our social media platform right now, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Let me say this. No one in Universal Fancon set this up to deceive and be fraudulent about what they were going to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
They were not trying to scam any of you. I'm speaking personally saying this. They weren't trying to scam anyone. Okay? The problem is everything that what you said. There has been zero humility.
That's right.
And throughout this entire, I mean, from the onset, where the humility goes, hey guys, no, if anybody is a fan of Dragon Con, right? Dragon Con is in my backyard, Atlanta, Georgia, right? And Dragon Con did not start out where it is now.
Exactly.
San Diego Comic Con did not start out where it is now. The problem is and Reggie during at pre-production, he had a great point that I want him to get right into.
Yes.
But the problem is that we as black people always feel like when we have to go out there and do something similar, that we have to compete immediately with whiteness.
Yes.
And I will say this is a problem that we've had here at the Fifth Column, where we like, oh, it's got to look like this, it's got to feel like this, it's got to be like this, because, them white boys, the white spaces, we got to show that we're just as good as they are. And when Reggie and myself have combined almost 30 years in event planning, execution, design, of events like this. So Reggie, go ahead and say what you.
Okay, there's so much to begin, but because when I first saw the Kickstarter for $25,000, I knew this was not possible.
Impossible.
Because there's not only just the hotels, because hotels want their money, and they can move away from you. They can get more business from the transient rates than they can from group rates. So if you don't provide that that money and that backing, then they're going to back away. Okay, that's number one. There's also the convention centers. Now, when you have a big event like this, normally convention centers will make their space available for free. But if you don't do the necessary steps to actually make this bidded out, so you can go to different cities and say, hey, we have this fan con, we want to have it in potentially your location, These are our guidelines. You send out an RFP. These are our guidelines of what we need. You need a free convention center. That way you cut down on your costs immediately. I guarantee that they were probably spending upwards of $10,000, $15,000 for just the space in of itself. Then you start factoring in flights, rooms for guests, and anything that they have, any appearance fees, it shoots up immediately.
Yes.
They didn't do their due diligence in knowing what they were going into, and they flopped.
Big time.
Big time. And listen, if they had have thought this through and said, hey, we've got $56,000, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a smaller event. We're going to do something that will still make us proud as far as Black, Latino, LGBTQ. We'll still do something, but it will not be what was normally considered a con, because you can't. There's a reason that those are organizations that outsource that type of planning. They don't do that in-house. They outsource that type of planning because it's something that professionals do. It would have been successful. Something that on a smaller scale, something similar to what kind of popped up after, would have been accomplishable.
Yeah, the huge error is you got this $56,000 and didn't create it going this way. You tried to take it and say, we're going to be able to depend on ticket sales. You overestimate interest, and you're trying to build it this way. And that was a huge financial blunder.
Did they overestimate interest, or did they over? Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. Was it? How many followers does Black Girl Nerds have?
200,000, something like that. Probably more than that. I know Jamie has.
I'm gonna put it at 200,000.
Because I just want to be very clear here. Hold on. Black Girl Nerds. Okay. Black Girl Nerds. Oh, you were right, J. Cole. It's 149K. Oh, wait a minute.
What?
No, this is not the original number.
Yeah, this is after.
This is in the aftermath.
This is aftermath of people.
She was at 300.
Yeah.
Yikes.
She was at 300. So now it's at 149K now.
Yikes.
Okay. So I remember we can't confirm it now, but now it's at 149, but it was at 300. Last I saw it was like 310,000. So just 300,000. She was signed on to do outreach. Right. And let's we're always talking about code switching. Right? So let's really talk about code switching. Jamie, you got the lane. You got all the followers. You're the face of the brand.
Exactly.
It's your job to get these butts
in the seats. It's your job to get butts in the seats.
You go put asses in the seats here. And I don't know what the contract is. And so the thing is that we were all looking at this and go, man, if you got 300,000 followers, let's just say 10%. I mean, 5% would have been a great start.
It would have.
And I think they thought, okay, we raised this money, and they said, we'll do this, and we'll make our money back off of ticket sales. They went into
it like how we used to go into it for planning parties. So when we were planning parties in school, my fraternity, we would say, you know what, we may have to come out of pocket at the front end, but we know this is a homecoming party. We're going to be able to hit them at the door, and we're going to come. You can't do this for that.
Yes, and here's the thing. You got history with your know from time over time what to expect, the number to expect, how much money. You got records.
Exactly, a history to show.
Can we just go here? There's a history of the affiliate organizations who were a part of this throwing events throughout the year prior to Universal Fancon's existence and not having good attendance. How can you expect a number of even 10% of your following to come to something like this when your smaller events aren't showing that kind of buying interest, if you will?
And the conversion rate for your followers, converting them into what is actual business, is very minute. So the idea that, yes, you have 30,000 or 300,000 people that you speak to daily on Twitter, that they are actually buying and that they will be consumers of whatever product that you're putting out, was a falsehood.
Yes.
That should not.
Let's stop right there. Because that's getting on that I'm a social media influencer.
Exactly.
Really? Are you really? How much active of your following is ready and willing to purchase based on you asking them to or advertising to them to? And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. You have a bajillion followers, but what is the quality of your following? Is it a following you have where you can just give brand awareness? Because I do think that BGN has a brand awareness following. They will retweet, they'll share to get the word out. But I'm not sure that they have the quality of, yes, we will click go. We will click yes. We will buy. If you look at your t-shirt sales or anything else that you're selling, that will tell you the quality of your following. I don't think any of the other affiliates had a following that was ready to buy to really activate the influence that you have. I think it was a huge error to think that you were going to get the financial support you were looking for.
It borders incompetence. It borders incompetence. They, again, from the beginning, from the onset, this should have been thought out. When you only received $50,000, and then you started to actually see how much space costs, when you start to see how much flights cost, when you start to see how much hotels cost, you should have backed away and decided to do something smaller. The fact that you stayed with this lets me know that no one on this board has ever done anything, has ever planned any event of any of importance.
Right. I think there were a couple of celebrity guest panelists who said that they hadn't gotten their flight information, they hadn't gotten their room information when they should have gotten it, and I'm like, that's a huge red flag if you can't meet those demands. And I think the Revolution mentioned there were a couple of very vocal people who were involved with the FanCon who kind of disappeared quietly.
Oh, Orlando Jones, like he disappeared, and I was like, "Where's Orlando at?" You know, and he was like, you know, really big at first and promoting it because he has a relationship with BGN, and you know, she's done a lot of live tweeting, and Orlando looked out for her when her house caught on fire, that they formed a relationship, and I think that everyone saw that she had such relationships with celebrities, A-listers, and you know, it just hadn't translated. But let me say this. Let me say this. Okay. When that dollar amount came through, and
the
Kickstarter amount, and then I assumed that they were going to, because they kept talking about the Baltimore Hyatt Regency, and I was like, oh yeah, you can get you a ballroom. You can get you a ballroom. You get you a ballroom and set it up and turn that out. I was like, yo, y'all could turn that out. You know, 3 days. I was like, you know, my thing was I was always scared about the 3 days. I was always like, ooh, that's a lot of money.
A lot.
Because
you got labor, you've got turning of the rooms. Listen, there's a lot that goes into this. On the hotel side, on the convention center side, you've got to pay for labor. You got to pay for union labor in DC, in Baltimore. Then you've got to pay for electricity. You got to pay for any telecom needs.
How much is Wi-Fi alone?
Exactly, like Wi-Fi. Listen, for our convention, Wi-Fi was $30,000. Was $30,000 at the convention at the Baltimore Convention Center. So again, it should have been backed up all the way up, and they should have said,
"Wait, you had an event at the Baltimore?
Had an event at the Baltimore Convention Center.
You had to.
I don't want to scare you guys away with what the cost.
No, don't let this cost, fam.
Listen, the cost for our convention at the Baltimore Convention Center, $1,500,000. $1.5.
1.5.
That's a 5-day convention at the Baltimore Convention Center.
Jesus.
That's AV. That's decorating costs. That's power. That's telecom. That's flights, hotels. Like, this is a big undertaking, and the fact it's massive, and the fact that no one set aside and said, you know what? How are we all getting there? Oh, so we got to pay for our own flights? Wait, let's back up then. If we got to pay for our own flights, then this isn't going to work. Because you had, I don't know, it may have been like 20 people that was on the board. That alone, if you all of you guys are going to be there for your hotel for those 3 nights, I'm guaranteeing you're not spending your own money for those hotels. You were probably thinking this is going to pay for that. So 20 people, you times that by, the room rates is probably about $175, $180 a night. And then you talk about flights going there. Listen, it gets outrageous.
Just on that.
Just on that.
Just on booking. Listen. You with that $50,000, I said, okay. I was questioning like, okay, where are we going with this $50K?
Right.
You know, and you think, and let me be very clear, these are educated people.
Yes.
You know, these people have master's degrees.
Yes.
These people have lettered.
Yes.
These people are not, you know,
listen,
these are, I know.
You need the education and the right.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
And so that's always my thing is that here's a problem where I feel like they created a cabal of favoritism. Of these are the people we'd rather work with and not going to work with the people that will help you execute it. And it turned very cliquey, and it has been very cliquey. And as opposed to saying, you know, like, did you see what what's his name said on the Breakfast Club? One of the Wayans, Marlon. He said he get on the phone with Dave Chappelle like, man, how'd you get the 20 million? Sit down, little nigga. Let me tell you how I did it. Right? And he said Dave Chappelle would do that. He said white men will beef with you and everything, but they'll get on the phone like, hey, I got this deal for you. Let's get on here and talk money. That you cannot be friends and do business. Black people, we have to be best friends. We have to be all in and to do business instead of getting the right people who know better to go, you know what? Hey, I want this to work. Man, let me go get him. He know what he's doing. But it gets very ego driven. And here's the problem. This was very ego driven because what you're saying and what we're saying is that you got the money and you knew like, whoa. Okay. Our eyes are much bigger than our appetites.
Exactly.
So at some point, where before dollars started going out, because let me say something, you and I both knew. When I still thought they were at the hotel. When I heard convention center, I said, oh, y'all had $250,000. You had $250,000.
Yes.
3 days? 3 days at a convention center? Listen, man. How many shows have many shows have you and I done at a convention center?
Yes.
How many have we done at a hotel?
Yes.
How many have we done at small? I'm talking like on somebody else's dime.
Yes.
And I kept telling people, look, fam, get this cabal together and let's go get on somebody else's dime.
Yes.
And not it's just like building a church with the church folks' money. And not actually going out there and getting loans and doing it the right way so you're not indebting your members and you're cash strapped all the time. Just like, yo, you got to go to work, you got to come to church, you got to keep my church open, not actually financially sound. And it was just like, what are we doing? You know, and I can really say that, you know, we weren't put out of money. We were going, we were going to cover the event. We had the whole thing set up. So, I mean, we were out of little stuff, but it's neither here nor there. But there are a lot of people that are out.
Big time.
Big time.
You've got people who have spent a lot of money preparing their booth, a lot of people who buy a lot of stock or inventory to sell. There are people who had it already mailed to the hotel. It was sitting there waiting. People who paid for hotels, paid for their flights that were non-refundable. You've got Twitter threads going around where just trying to help people to try to recoup their costs, how to call their banks or their credit cards, you know, creating tumblers and other places to showcase their stuff to try to recoup some of these costs. The financial ramifications have been just devastating for a lot of people and for the marginalized people that you were trying to provide a safe space to. It's just been crazy. So a lot of people are questioning where the money went. The FAQ said that the convention center is holding all that money. I want to hear from the both of you on just the reality and the you know, because I'll just say in my own personal experience of planning events for organizations and associations, you know, there's a deposit, there's a balloon payment, there's these types of things, right? And so a little bit might be non-refundable. For the most part, it can be refundable if you don't meet such and such. What is in your experience for something this large? Would all this money been really poured into the venue like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And here's why. Because especially this is why you do things like an RFP and you send and you site visit and you bid the process out because you don't want to be hamstrung and be tied to this one building. But anyway, it didn't happen like that. So this building is saying, well, we were guaranteed this amount of business for this weekend, a prime weekend. We blocked out. We could have sold this space to other events. In order to even get that space, you had to put down not only the deposit, but then also to say for labor that was going to be here for this weekend. They've all of that money is gone. It's spent. You're not getting that back.
Yikes!
You're not getting that back. But again, this is why you say in your RFP, we will not put down a deposit. We are not guaranteeing for food, F&B.
Yep.
This is why you do these type of things. That way you protect yourself, because if you're going into it blind like this, you can say, well, all right, we're not going to be able to cover this. Let's back out, and both sides kind of move along.
I'm so glad to hear all of this. Oh, go ahead,
I have a question on this. So, as far as the convention center, why did they not? Like, how long do they give you before they say, okay, you can no longer have
They
this?
usually give you about 6 months. 6 months you're locked in. So again,
did they know?
So they probably the convention center has been paid. Is the thing. The convention center has been paid. They gave them 6 months to back out before they say, okay, this is our money. This event is definitely happening, and we can go along with the planning of this event.
This brings me or reminds me of something that kind of was a red flag for me when this was announced. So they raised this almost $60,000. Okay, this is great. And then I feel like the next big announcement was the date. And the date made me go,
I'm glad you said
what?
That. Yes.
You raised this money at the end of 2016. It was Christmas time. You announced the date in 2017 as the conference being in 2018. And I immediately went, oh God, this is a red flag. I don't know about y'all, but you could read any marriage engagement magazine and they'll tell you need a year to plan a wedding. To plan a wedding.
You need a year to properly plan. Like, and I'm glad you said that, because on the way here, I was like, man, why the fuck did they lock in a date so early without knowing? First of all, you locked in the venue and the date before knowing cost certainties. Like, you have to know those things before you're able to say,
yes.
All right, we're going to do it at this date. Yes. You have to know those things. Otherwise, again, then you robbing Peter to pay Paul to try to make sure that you hit this date. In December, they should have just said, you know what? Now we're done. We're not going to be able to do this.
And with that, let's go into the next subtopic of legal ramifications, right? So Revolution said, hey, I don't think people started out with this with the intention to scam or ill motive. They were trying to do something. We had some incompetence come in the picture. But then we have too many points in the stories that we're seeing on Twitter where y'all knew that y'all didn't have enough money. You're talking February, March. I think one of the gentlemen from Three Black Geeks made a video the other day, and said that they kind of knew in February, March that they didn't have enough money. Jamie Brodex issued a statement on her website, and she confirmed February, March, didn't know you had enough money, but definitely by April 3rd, knew that they didn't have enough money. And I'm guessing from even, I think Jeremy Whitley is his name, the gentleman who, one of the guest panelists, was saying, I kept asking at certain points for my information to confirm my flights and yada yada. Y'all knew then you didn't have money. And then the big kicker for me is you knew April 3rd y'all didn't have enough money, but you're selling tickets still up to maybe a day before the Hyatt concierge, pushing the tickets before the Hyatt concierge said this has been canceled. And so I'm looking at, do we got any fraud here? Do we have any? We definitely have breach of contract for sure for all the panelists, but you got a point where you knew and still was taking money from people, and there's no way in the world you can meet those balloon payments. No way at all. At least hearing the numbers you guys are giving me with regard to how much a convention center costs.
And again, this is why they should have backed away in December. And each month they should have been able to sit down with each other and say, okay, what are we looking like? This is the mark that we need to get to with ticket sales, so we can guarantee that a hotel gets paid. So we can guarantee that that the convention center gets paid. If we're doing an AV company or AV provider, this is how much we're gonna. So and that drop dead date should have been way out in advance. The ticket sales that you're selling from, let's say, 6 months out to the actual convention, that's just gravy. That should have just been that should have just been money to go to the pot to have maybe the next year.
Yes.
The money, but up until that 6 months, you should have known how much money needed to put on this event and to guarantee for flights, for hotels. And if you didn't have that amount, then you back that and say, listen, guys, we're sorry. We tried our hardest. Ticket sales didn't match what we thought. We're not going to be able to put this on.
Right.
And you could have just moved away from there. People who didn't wait until tax time or whatever to actually start booking their flights, they would have been saved all the hassle.
So other legal thoughts, Chesney? Like, where are you at with other legal thoughts?
You know, we've got, I did find proof of who Universal FanCon is from a legal entity. It's just two of them, their names on there. I believe it was definitely Geek. Wait a minute, no.
Robert Butler.
Robert Butler, and then the Austin. It's just two gentlemen.
Just two people.
Just two people is listed as members/owners, officers of the organization. So when it comes to people wanting to file class action lawsuits and trying to get their money back, I'm like, you had two people who were to be legally responsible for this entire thing, and I'm sure they don't have the deep pockets to make them worthwhile defendants. Like it is just a bad situation.
They should have incorporate. You got to protect. Oh my gosh, you got to protect yourself.
I think they did. I think they were LLCs.
Yeah, but here's the thing: with an LLC, it basically means we're only liable for how much money we put in. We can only be held liable financially for that. So and they don't have any money personally. So even if they were doing things to where we're like, let's disregard the LLC and sue them personally, what are their personal assets that can be seized to satisfy any judgment? It leads me to more of a conversation of this gimme Patreon, Kickstarter, GoFundMe culture where you're just giving money to these things and you're not being smart in what you're investing into. What are you gifting into? And you guys are just giving money to these things without the necessary details to understand is what you're sowing into good ground. Like, it's unbelievable to me. And it actually just brings me to Revolution bringing up church. This is how church goes. Y'all keep sowing money into poor ground, and you get in a situation where, now it's everything relying on you coming out of your pocket to sustain something that probably didn't have a good foundation in the first place. It's all a mess. It was all a mess. And I hear people upset and mad, and I'm like, can you look at what you were investing into? You made a decision to do this. Even the person who gave the $5,000 came on Twitter, the backer.
Yeah, and go, Reggie, because I need to hear about the Patreon culture.
Listen. Okay. First of all, you guys, when you do things like this, when you give money to Patreon, to Kickstarter, can we step outside of ourselves for a minute and just look at the mission that was to be? It was to put on an event. You do not own this event. Any success that came out of this event would have been gone to the planners and the actual organizers of this event.
Yes.
If you don't have the money to give, don't give it. The idea that I gave this money to y'all, I expect. Listen, all that they asked them for a certain amount of money to put on an event. If they had to put on any event, it would have sufficed. But since they didn't, it kind of hurts my point. But the idea that you guys can now just say, "Hey, give me this back, give me this back." No, that's not how the real world works, man. You guys cannot be so. When you go to a store, or when you go and Patreon, say a restaurant or whatever, you're going there with the good intentions of, well, I'm gonna give my money, and I am hopefully gonna get a product that suffices. But you cannot then be so angry where you're demanding of this organization that was doing this out of goodwill that you're demanding financials that aren't there. They're not there.
Yeah, I wish people understood that giving the Kickstarter or GoFundMe is a gift.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. It is not securities, investments.
Exactly. This is not. This is not you giving money to see stock. For the stock. This is not how this works, man.
No.
And you have to go into when you're giving to understand that when I give money to somebody whose parent died or something and they put up a GoFundMe, I'm not then saying, hey, I want the flowers to look this color, and I want and if they don't look this color, I want my money back. And or if it's not the casket didn't come like how I thought you guys. So you just went ahead and cremated her, but I gave this amount of money. Nah, that's not how it works. That's goodwill. That's out of your good faith of you giving and goodwill. It's a gift. Move on.
Yes. The only part that people have actual ground to stand on and wanting their money back is we've made purchases thereafter,
exactly,
based on promises that you've given us. We've been induced, if you will, to do
vendor.
these other things based on, you know what I mean? You kept saying everything was okay when it wasn't, and we did these things based on what you're saying, those misrepresentations. So that's the only, but with regard to Kickstarter funds, you gave it, it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
My favorite tweet is people talking about, I took vacation days. Your job will be more than happy to cancel those vacation days.
Listen, they would say, you know what? You coming to work? Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Now, here's the thing that I would like to get to.
Yeah.
We have Raphael, the VP of content, Raphael Martinez, on the line, waiting to jump in here. But here's the thing that I want to say. Reggie and when we were in pre-pro and we were talking, I need for the blame. Like, I need us to talk about who we believe. And I want to say this. And Reggie had a very similar sentiment. I blame the people.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
I blame the people.
Absolutely.
Wholeheartedly.
I blame everyone. Like, let's be very clear here. You all's no one managed their expectations on the fan side, right? Right. And because everyone wanted to come in and be like, I want Black San Diego Comic-Con, right? And you go, well, wait a minute, guys. Like that's a million. That's a $5 million
venture.
That's a do you know? Even with sponsorship,
yes, right.
Yes, even with all the money, they're still pushing out millions of dollars. So, Reggie, you made a point. I want you to make your point on that.
And it speaks to, I hate to say this, but Black people we have unrelenting, and we also have unrealistic expectations of our own events. If this had just been at some, whether it be a ballroom, or if it had just been at a just like how the was it WI Comic Con?
Yeah.
If it had just been that from onset, the numbers wouldn't. Let's be honest. Black people wouldn't come.
Nope.
They would say, "Oh, this janky thing that we put $50,000 to this.
Yeah.
This is as much as you would come up with."
Yeah.
Black people just wouldn't support the same.
Right.
So they felt, and they're like, oh, "Okay, well, we've got to actually make this into something that is replicable to what they've seen," and they couldn't produce that. They couldn't. There's no way that they would be able to produce that. But again, it speaks to our own arrogance and our own ignorance in how we look at financials and how we look at money and what they could do on that type of a budget. The moment you saw $25,000,
yes,
you should have known that this wasn't going to be something small on a small scale. And on their end, the moment that they only put $25,000, this should have just been at some warehouse and just kept it small, kept it funky, had a party at the end,
and made it dope.
And made it dope. That's what it should have been.
Because here's the thing that I want to say here: we are cool. We the cool.
Yes.
We can go anywhere and turn anything out. You know, but it's like you said, like we always gotta stunt and flex. And I just was so upset with that, with the stunt and flex mentality. And like we just don't like let's just celebrate each other. Like let's get to a venue where we can control whether it be dope.
Yes.
People will show up. We will have every marginalized group give them a time to get onto the main stage and talk about their position in fandom, what it means for them, everybody, and have all the vendors there.
And let's not overly promise the certain level of celebrity to be here.
Yes. Why? Can we? I was very thrown off as planning went on to see all these lack of melanated people on the panels and as the guests. I was very thrown off by that. The Revolution was like, why are we doing this? We should be using bloggers.
It should have just been bloggers.
It should have been the biggest Black, Latino, Asian, gay,
disabled.
It should have been man. We all should have been able to see and touch and talk to all the people that we've been watching and live tweeting with and had a shared event and moment in time.
Yes.
But we always out here star fucking.
Always.
We are always out here star fucking. And that star fucking has cost us
big.
Huge. And
and look at the ramifications of that, of having all these stars who don't look like us. And as soon as this ish went down, here the articles, here they come. Boom, boom,
all
the white publications came to eat y'all alive. This should be a lesson.
You will know why? Because they hate the D word. These white publications have been waiting for this. Listen, the article was written.
Was ready.
It was ready.
They
was hating because they hate diversity. Because
that's
diversity
exactly right.
Oh my God, those blacks, those Mexicans, those Asians, they want to be in everything. Just leave the characters white. Just leave Star Wars the way it is. I don't want them in my space. And you know what? We should have abandoned that fandom shit a long time ago. We can enjoy it, but we need to be supporting everyone that looks like us, that's creating, that's doing it. Rafael Martinez is on the line. Rafael, what do you have? Just give me your thoughts and takes on everything that we said thus far.
Well, first things first, Ray said star fucking, so I now know the level of language and fucking use here. At the end of the day, it's just a case of Universal FanCon wasn't so much just a monster that was created by incompetence. It was a monster created by the community, quite frankly. Like, the egos of the people involved that were Jamie Broadneck, that was the Black Geeks. These are people who have been held up for a long time and never once criticized, never once questioned, and therefore you got vendors, you got attendees believing everything they say. They believe the $25,000 price when that's, anyone with a brain would tell you that's just not how this works. And what happens is you get into a paradigm where because they look like you almost go, well, they can't possibly try to do me wrong. But the sad part is there is a marginalized portion of us that will screw over other marginalized people. And I don't think they went into this necessarily wanting to screw people over. I think they went into it with their best intention of, well, we want to put together a cool fan con. But I remember you and I, Ray, talking when the Kickstarter first was announced. We were talking about this up until last December as a hotel convention. That's what we assumed it was. So when you tell me you're going to the Baltimore Convention Center, where's the money coming from? And then and the fans on the streets and the fans on the Twitter, that's what they're asking. Like, how could it have been that we invested so much in you people for so long, and you had sold us this bag of goods of what you could provide, what statue of level you are, all these quote-unquote connections you have? How could this have screwed up so badly? And to your point, Ray, yes, fucking Bleeding Cool News was waiting to report on the failure of this con. Polygon had not mentioned the Universal FanCon once all year, but they had an article about this weekend, though.
Yep. Right. Yep. They got that up immediately.
Right. They got it up, and that's really interesting. And you know, and let me say this. I hope if this video gets out to any member of the Black Geeks, Jamie, anyone else that's on the board, anyone that are fans, I hope that you're actually listening to what we're saying.
Yes.
Because we're not being like a lot of people who saw blood in the water. And let's go into that.
The cannibalistic nature of black people and it shouldn't exist. We say it shouldn't exist in Black Nerdom and Black Geek, but it does. And the blood in the water and they're ready to feast on who. I don't, but the faves, your fave did this, and they said this to me, and I'm gonna tell it, and like that made me genuinely sad. And I don't know this, you know, I've only been on Twitter for 4 or 5 months, but seeing these comments, I was genuinely sad about how opportunistic people were to kind of rain on and stomp on the grave, and it's dead. Black girl nerves is dead. Hey, she ain't gonna see no more money. And it's, listen, man, these is livelihoods that people were trying to build. And again, they were building. Jamie wasn't building black girl nerds for herself. She didn't. That's not what she started off for.
Right.
She started off to create a space that people kind of flocked to. And I know other people who wanted to be in that space as well. And if they had the opportunity to be as big as Jamie was with Black Girl Nerds, they would have taken it. And if they had an opportunity to be a co-founder of what was Universal Fancon, they would have taken it. And if they had an opportunity to then capitalize on that, they would have taken it. But since it's not them in that position, they feel the need to kind of jump in and kind of capitalize on the opportunity to get in some of her fans.
Yes.
And it's sad. It's ridiculous. And
doing it in a negative way of now coming out with stories about working with Jamie. So we've kind of got this, the revolution is called the #MeToo, where people are saying, I've worked with Jamie and BG, and let me tell you my story. And there's a flood of people who are now telling these stories. And I know a question from you guys in here is, why are you doing this now? I think there was one lady who said she worked with BGN for 2 years, and now you're coming out with stories about what it's like to work with Jamie. And why do you take advantage of this situation now when you've had plenty of opportunity to do so in the past?
Ralph.
If I can answer that.
Please.
I've been a part of this blurred community actively on Twitter since 2012, and I think when the question's asked, why didn't anyone come forward earlier, people forget the level that Jamie was in the community, that she was at a high respected level. She had connections. And when you hear these women who have come out over the weekend, some of the common answers are, I was afraid of being blacklisted. I was afraid of, everyone turning on me, because she has a powerful fan base. Like, she has gone toe-to-toe with a lot of people on Twitter, and that fan base has latched on to those people and attacked them very aggressively. Like I remember her and Michael Che going out in SNL, and while he was trying to talk to her, I feel rather respectively, she was coming out in a very different, aggressive way, and her fans took it, that's our license to do that. There are several stories, such as Jump for Joy, who just recently left BGN, and she was saying, yes, I left on bad terms. I left because of the dishonesty she had. I left that there was a problem of transparency within the site. And you get someone like Miss T. Franklin, who was a part of that whole journey years ago and was unceremoniously blacklisted. So much that BGN would not cover her comic books, though they were getting traction other places. And it also confirmed that there was a blacklist going around where you do not talk about these people because Jamie does not like these people. You get people like Rebecca Theodore, who's a well-respected writer for RogerEbert.com, movie critic, and she confirmed, yes, these things are true. What started out as a situation about Universal Fancon, then turned into something about Jane Broadneck, which, for the first time on social media, people were finally critical of her. So that's when it was like, wait a minute, I can talk about this story finally. I can finally get it out there. And that's why a lot of people were coming forward. And the thing about BGN is, sadly, very much like, not to say she's on this level, but like a Harvey Weinstein thing, within the flirt community, it was very much known that some of these things had happened. But once again, she has all the connections, and a lot of people respect her, so you're afraid of being ridiculed and blacklisted. So it's a very complex issue why people didn't come forward. I'm happy they came forward now, at least, because a lot of them got it off their chest. A lot of them are holding on to this for years. So, and it's something that's been happening for some time.
Reggie has a comment.
Well, my thing is, I'm new to the Twitterverse, but what is the problem with people? This is Twitter. We share this space. Go create your own. Stop worried about what other people are saying, and like you can't speak about this. I don't get this world. I'm of the world, and I'm of the mind of well, she doing that over there, and she's blacklisting. I can go do it. I still have the internet to me. It's free. This place is huge. I can make my own connections. I can talk to people that I want. Like, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Yeah, didn't Dave Chappelle just say this? Didn't Dave Chappelle say, if somebody got in your way and killed your dream, then it really wasn't your dream.
Listen, the internet is too huge of a place. It's too huge of a place. You can create your own following. You can create your own content. You have the wherewithal. You have the wherewithal. I don't get, and listen, I'm gonna call bullshit on people who say, well, Jamie was blocking my shine, or Jamie blacklisted. Like, nah, fam. Go do it yourself then. Go do it yourself.
And in respect to the ones who came out, a lot of them did do it themselves. But if you look at the promotion they got before, as opposed to when they did go against her, it's strictly different. It's completely different.
That's McDonald's. That's whether you work for McDonald's and work for.
I think to negate the fact that someone has a huge role in the community, it's obvious. I mean, we've seen it all the time in Hollywood. You know, you see it all the time in any industry.
And that's the risk you take, but that's the necessary avenue that you have to take. Like, I get it. It's the risk you take. You have a smaller reach. You have a smaller audience, but that's the risk you take with going against the grain. Whatever have you, go against the grain. Do what you need to do, but don't go and then now's my opportunity to now I can voice my opinion. Like, nah, you can go do what you need to do and keep speaking on it. It's like, nah, Jamie's an asshole, but I'm still gonna do what I need to do. I'm still creating my own avenue. But yeah, Jamie, she's an asshole. And I'm gonna keep letting you know every time I see a tweet that I don't agree with, Jamie's an asshole. you can do that. And again, I don't get the world. But y'all speak to it a little bit better than me. I don't understand this fear. I don't understand this fear of Twitter and this fear of.
But I feel like that exists even in real life offline, where it's like you got this one black person in the industry who has all the power, and you have to show allegiance if you want to get your whatever, your scraps given to you. You might get more publicity, you be more fame or get more recognition, but you're underneath the auspices of this very powerful black person. And if you dare try to come outside of the head nigga in charge, you're gonna be all alone by yourself, and it's gonna be small. But it is a risk over here, and it does take guts. It takes courage, and it takes really having a real dream, as you said, to be over here by it. I don't need this. Sure, would it be nice, but I don't need all the other stuff to come with it.
Exactly.
And I think that's kind of just where you're coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Ralph, do you have a closing statement you'd like to make?
I think at the end of the day, it's like with Universal FanCon, it just really screws up a lot of opportunity for a lot of future cons and future projects. Because now, the second you come out, that's the first comparison they're going to make. Mm-hmm. Like, this thing isn't just a closed, blurred community thing anymore. This thing is on the Hollywood Reporter. You know what I mean? Like, this thing is out there. So now you got to really come correct. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what I hope it does is it enlightens people that, yeah, they are great people, they're doing great things for the movement, but you need to ask questions. You need to be critical when things don't sound right. Blindly trusting idolism has always historically led minorities to fucked up places. But we do it all the time. You know what I mean? And we need to be more critical of our leaders. We need to be more aware of what's possible. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that no one bothered to ask, wow, they only raised $56,000. Where's the other money coming from? Orlando Jones left. I wonder why. The American Gods cast left. Big Daddy Kane left. I wonder why they're all bouncing quietly and not making a public stink about it. You know? And with these statements, it has angered a lot of people because now we're hearing different stories about the money and stuff like that. It's heartbreaking for the blur community, but everything we've seen posts where the Nerds of Color have recently put together basically a backup pop-up con, you know what I mean, called Wicked Comic Con, and it's going to be in the Baltimore area. A lot of people who are shit out of luck with their flights and hotel reservations are going to go there. So out of that, we got probably the most nerdiest thing that could possibly happen. Someone rented a spot, now they're all going to hang out now.
what should have happened in the beginning. That's what should have
happened in the beginning.
Like, just what it should have been.
The style of convention we all agreed upon is going to happen anyway, just not with them.
Yep. Anybody else? I mean, like, was there any other comments of, because again, like I said, I wanted to make sure that we were open and honest and fair about this discussion. Thanks, Ralph. We'll talk later, bro.
No problem, buddy.
All right, later. I thought that once the dragging started, like the very grimy drag, I was like, and you know what? When I saw people allies, and I'm going to be very honest with you. When I saw people, I'm like, you were just in bed with, you were just, and now because there's blood in the water, F her, and you want to know why? And but I really want to say this. Y'all ain't slick.
That's right.
Trying to capitalize.
Y'all trying to cap. Y'all want that spot.
Exactly.
Y'all want that crown.
Exactly.
Y'all want that crown. You want the crown. Listen. This is the episode. This is the Red Wedding.
Yes.
This is Game of Thrones. Yes. If I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Yes.
They didn't kill the pregnant woman. You know what I mean? Like, and it's all pettiness. Everything it's entitlement. It's arrogance. It's pettiness. It's, these little fiefdoms. It's all of this stuff in the name of, and I'm going to say this, I don't want to hear this ever again from this community. I don't want to hear shit about the culture.
No.
I don't want to hear shit about, because nobody cares about the actual culture. Nobody cares, because at the end of the day, this is about profit and face.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Can we talk about profits real quick? Because I took a look at Kickstarter and it said you're not allowed to give equity to anybody in a project funded by Kickstarter. And there's an article where Jamie Broadnack said that a part of her contract in lending her face to this project was she was going to get a kick of the profits. And I'm like, yikes. Yikes. So,
this is why you need to know what you're getting into before you start attaching your name on the project.
But you don't do that when, again, ego is the driving force of what you're doing and not community. And I think that's a huge thing here in this thing is nobody was looking out for community. They were all looking out for self. It will get you every time.
It will. And the people who are on Twitter now are looking out for self. Everybody's looking out.
And it's black women too.
I wanted to say it.
Man,
I'm glad you can say it. You go ahead.
Like, y'all, listen, man. People F up all the time, and I might just be personally triggered by this, but, that's neither here nor there. But somebody F's up from incompetence, malice, whatever, and y'all comfort them because you've been wanting to comfort them. You've been waiting for your opportunity to slide right on in and start stealing. And this woman has lost nearly half of her followers. Not excusing for whatever she did, but y'all have contributed to it because you are trying to take that head nigga in charge spot. Listen, it's despicable. It is despicable. It's no different than when we had the conversation about Omarosa. Chick went down and here comes black women by Felicia and all this other stuff in very public forums. But y'all always want to say, hey sis, how you doing sis? You okay
Which is it?
I don't trust.
You care about your sister?
You can't.
You don't.
You can't.
You can't. And listen, man, and this other thing, like we keep saying, oh, why y'all giving invitations to the cookout? Why do y'all want to include all these people who are waiting to drag you? Hollywood Reporter, Bleeding Cool. It was enough. Man, these white publications ain't mention y'all asses. Ain't mention y'all black asses in support and solidarity to y'all.
They went to work on the weekend to drag you.
On a weekend.
They went to work on the weekend to drag you.
Listen.
Wait a minute.
1,000 word count.
They went to work on the
grammar.
Digital.
No typos.
I'm usually taking my vacation, but
I'm here for this lynching.
I'm here for this.
I'm here for this lynching. This digital lynching. I'm here for it.
Oh my God.
Y'all gonna learn.
Y'all gonna learn. And I want to say this, like, I hope that moving forward that we put ourselves first.
Yes.
And I'm talking like real community. I want listen, y'all, I love y'all. I love everybody. If we've hurt somebody, if Jamie has hurt somebody, if Black Geeks, let me say this, right? I know it's a gang of these people that don't like me.
Oh, they waiting.
Listen here, okay? And I'm not grinding no axes here, right? But let me say this. When it comes to blurred community, I have been pushed all the way over here. I know it. It's clear. I've never gone so far as to say I'm blacklisted. I don't care. I make my own moves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Clearly.
Cardi B's mouth was jacked up, but she said, I ain't gotta dance no more. I make money moves. And she told who a dentist what? Listen. And guess what? The money got stacked out. You want to know why? Because she was humble.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you something, man. Let's get humble. Let's forgive each other. Like, let's get to a place where, like, all of these airing of grievances, let's everybody receive it. You, whomever you hurt, slide into the DM, pick up that phone, hash it out. Because I'm going to tell you something. This whole thing could be the phoenix. Rising from the ashes, and maybe we get a more stronger, more unified community from this. Maybe we can galvanize and move forward. But this is, my sister just had a conversation with myself and Trezane the other night and about teamwork. She's in therapy. She's a therapist, and she was talking about teamwork. And we all, J. Cole and I, Reggie and I, how many arguments and disagreements have you and I had?
Yeah.
I'm saying, we like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, like, yelling at each other, right?
Yeah.
J. Cole, how many?
Countless.
We're talking years of this, right? We're talking
decades.
We're talking, right? And at the end of the day, I know you ain't out to screw me.
Right.
You're not out to screw me. You and all of us, we're not out to get one another. I hope that we get to a point that we go, okay, guys, okay. Here, and let me say this. I know I'm going on, but this is the thing. We all are one good generation removed from abject poverty. Like, real.
Yes.
Like,
Very
let's
much
stop
so.
playing, people.
Very much so.
Let's stop playing. Your grandmother and grandfather were part of a bus boycott that could not ride on buses to get to do labor work.
You're right, exactly.
So let's stop with the bougie, stop with the new black shit, and let's be real.
Yes.
A lot of us are living with parents. A lot of us are trying to make it to tax season. We have no liquid money.
Right.
We are nobody I know is $25K liquid.
Right.
I know. No, that's not true. I got a couple partners that I know, but it's me though.
That's me though.
Man, so but the majority of us are not. I hope that after this, we all got the pain out, we all got a hurt out, we all got a disappointment out, and say, all right, that's over. How can we rebuild?
Exactly. How can we make this actually happen? What do we need to do?
What do we need to do?
Can I give a first tip to them? Start laterally.
Exactly.
Issa Rae had a video that went viral. It was a meme, and she talked about how she built what she built. She wasn't trying to reach up here. She reached among her network that was here.
That's how
we matter. We together. We like it's not up here. It's laterally right here, and that's how you build together and make moves.
Can I add? J. Cole wants to add his 2 cents on this.
Yeah.
Stop bringing white people into the fold until the foundation is strong.
Yes.
Then you could start. I don't care how allied we are. Don't let us in until the foundation is there.
Whew.
All right.
This is why FCN is awesome. All right.
And I'm glad we got it out. Like, I'm glad that we got it out. And, because we talked about it. And at first we were afraid because we were like, we got these relationships. But at the same time, it is about accountability.
Yes.
Exactly. It's about accountability, and I love everybody involved. Whether or not anybody cares for me, that's neither here nor there. It's about, like we said, about giving. I'm giving love. I'm giving admiration. I'm giving my support. Now, whether or not you take that and receive it and want to sow that into me, hey, that's up to you, not me. So, I don't know. What we got next, Miss?
Kanye on Twitter made a statement about very conservative black woman Candace Owens that I like the way she things. Woo, woo, woo.
What do you? Okay.
Y'all know anything about Candace Owens?
She's kind of alt-right black. Like
she is. She is.
Like, what do they call it? The red pill? The red pill conservative?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something like, and so let me be very clear here. I didn't know who she was.
Me neither.
I didn't know who she was until he
her star rating shot through the roof with this tweet.
Yes. As soon as he said, I was like, okay, who is she? And so let me say this.
Did you watch any videos of her after you saw this to go look at who she was? Because I did.
And what happened?
It was a video. She was at a huge stage with a white guy. There were black people protesting in the back. There was some black people in the audience. And she went in on them and said, when are you going to let go of being a victim and being a victor? It's your grandparents that went through all the stuff that you keep talking about. Jim Crow, slavery, blah, 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 blah. You are in a whole nother time and you need to live victoriously, right? Yeah. She said a couple of things I went, about. She's like, there's some black people up here right here agreeing with me, but y'all back there still living in pain. When are y'all gonna come into the future and start really building a future instead of being in the past? She also it's just very much in black people are in a different space now and we need to act accordingly. That is what I saw. I ain't gonna lie, I was like, but with looking at Kanye's tweet, I do like the way she thinks. I don't know if I agree with the statements she was making, but I can see you trying to just kind of flip something on his head and say black people should just think differently.
And this is what me and Ray kind of talked about it a little bit before. With Kanye and the way that he tweets, it's very like the thing, whatever's at the top of my mind right now, I'm sending it out. Right? And he doesn't do a lot of reading of the room. It's not receiving of information. It's all just sending out. These are my thoughts. I'm trying to build. Kanye, all of his thoughts have been just scattered through his tweets. If he had just took a moment to kind of see where we are right now, I think he would have said, you know what, maybe this one, the Candace Owens, maybe I could save that one until I'm able to kindly fully expose on how I really feel. Like, what about her thinking resonates with me? Instead of just saying, I like the way that Candace Owens, because on Twitter, no
room for nuance.
There's no room for nuance here. You say Candace Owens, and I immediately see Red Pill, and I immediately see Donald Trump, and I see the pictures that you taking with Donald Trump. So what you really saying, Kanye?
Right.
And this was not the avenue for that. If you were trying to say, I like the way black people come together, we need to move past this, and we need to create our own, and we need to do. I get it, Kanye. I'm with you 100%. But this ain't the avenue for that. This ain't the avenue for that.
Agreed with that. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. So I get jammed up.
Okay.
Because first and foremost, I am an out and proud black conservative. I am, right? But there's a lot of stuff there that I contradict with,
right,
in being a conservative. So over the years, we now kind of get it to where I am more of a moderate. Like I'm not very liberal, though. I am not very liberal. I'm not. I'm very fiscally responsible. I am very old world conservative. Like, well, we should do it this way. My grandparents raised me, my mother raised me, my father raised me. So I just had, church, God, country. Like, I'm sorry, I believe in that. You call it corny, you can call it whatever you want to, but I believe in it and I love it. I am American. I was born here. I am from here. I don't care where my family is from. I'm American. I don't care what other language they speak. I don't care what conquered last name that I have, what conquered tongue and dialect I speak. At the end of the day, I don't need, like, when people get mad when they're like, you speak English. No, bitch, I speak American. Because my American and your British English ain't the same.
No.
Okay, it's called a cookie. It's not a biscuit. A biscuit is a southern flour-based delicacy that you pull apart, you slide some butter in between it.
Yes.
Or some honey. You can drizzle a little some honey.
I still need butter in mine, though, baby. I still need butter in my biscuit. I'm all about butter and biscuits. I'm here slathering all my butter on all these biscuits. And that was very double entendre.
Yes.
Sexual.
Yeah, but see,
innuendo.
that's where his liberalism comes in.
Yeah, but it's, you know, you live in a world where when you're black and you're conservative, you're afraid to say as such because
that's right.
We're supposed to be marching and putting our fists up
and democratic
and very democratic. And I'm like, listen, and I will say this: I don't know what the Democrats have done for y'all. I don't know what the Democratic Party have done for y'all. You know, like Barack Obama was in office. I don't know what he done for y'all. Bill Clinton, y'all. Now everybody's getting woke. We all know that the Clintons did y'all in. Hillary did y'all. William Jefferson, the first black president, did your black ass in. Them crack laws, them privately owned prisons that Kanye was talking about. Like, you know, it's such a. He reminds me a lot of me. We come from a very close proximity to one another, growing up wise. And I think when Donda died, like people said, when Donda died, his blackness died. And you can't divorce, the fact that you done sold your soul into the Kardashians. What's the other family last name? Jenner. Kardashian Jenner family, and everybody once they get into you know that Lazarus pit, they come out nude and they're weird. And Tristan Thompson is sitting on the bench still. Right. You know he can't even play. The one dude that was with Chloe before that was playing basketball. Who was the? Oh, Lamar Odom. He was done. Yeah. Like, you know, and all of what? And all of what? So it's just scary. I don't know much about her. I saw her videos. I think Kanye, you said something about him not reading the room. Yeah. There still is reading the room there. I have to read the room because it's some stuff that I believe that I don't go to Twitter with. It's a lot of stuff that I believe that I don't go to Twitter with. But I'm going to say this, though.
Exactly.
Somebody like Candace and anybody, when you are loud in social media, you are trying to be seen.
That's right.
You are trying to draw attention to yourself so you can curate a following. So you can be placed above and put on high to get that blue check mark to become an influencer.
That's right.
And like all of them bullshit titles that get you in trouble later and get your ass. Would you say the thing that famed you was
defame you?
Will defame you.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just a slippery slope. So I keep a lot of opinions to myself. But these people don't want that because they want to be as loud as possible. They want to be as polarizing as possible so they can garner the biggest following as possible.
And keep those checks coming in the door.
And again, there's no nuance on Twitter.
Never.
So if you're going to tweet something that says, well, and see, like this is Kanye's only free thinkers. Like it's just kind of vague kind of things.
But that was what he followed up to.
Yeah. But I love the way that Candace Owens thinks. If you're going to send something like that on a platform that gets a immediate response from the people who are your fans or your enemies alike, you're gonna need to be able to elaborate and explain it.
There's a reason why they add the add tweet.
Yeah,
add tweet.
Exactly.
You give me plenty of room to explain yourself. Yikes. All right, Kanye. The second topic, Barbara Bush. She died at the age of 92, if I'm not mistaken. Barbara Bush is the wife of the first George Bush president. And there's the picture after the funeral of a lot of former presidents and first ladies at the funeral in support of the still living first George Bush. And a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, Trump is not there. And it said that he wasn't there because he didn't want to be a distraction at the funeral. You can see that there's Obama and his wife, second George Bush and his wife, and the Clintons are there as well as Melania.
And also random lady number 17 in the background made it in the picture. Why did this was posted by NBC? Why did they not crop that picture?
I don't know, but that purse with that cheese, is that leopard?
That's leopard.
And that's inappropriate funeral attire.
She's showing a lot.
She is showing a lot. Okay, what are your thoughts about that?
It's bullshit. Trump, you could have made your ass there. Listen, there's only been 45 presidents. It's a fraternity. It's a brotherhood of sorts. Yeah. You need to be there to not only to ingratiate yourself with past presidents, but also this is just a paying respect to someone who meant something to America. you got to be there.
Can I fact check this. That's my job here. So it is not required for a sitting president to go to the funeral of a former first lady. And so I actually have seen pictures at former first lady funerals, and the sitting president is not there.
It's not okay.
So who recently died? It was Carter's still alive. Who? Reagan. I think it was Reagan who might have passed away.
Reagan been died.
Someone, I just saw the pictures. It was like Ford's wife was in the picture. Carter's wife was in the picture. I forget who died, but Obama was not there. She was there, and it had to be really early in the presidency because her hair wasn't quite laid yet. But it is not required by the governmental policies, rules, procedures of etiquette for a sitting president to be at a former first lady's funeral. Now I get what you're saying.
But optics of it, though.
The optics.
You make yourself available. I know you. If I was his PR, listen, fam. I know we got rules that say you don't have to go, but I'ma strongly advise that you make your ass available.
I don't know. If I'm Trump's PR, I'm be like, nah, I'm gonna need you to just. I don't need no extra headlines about you being nowhere. No, you don't need to be there. Send Melania. Melania took 2 guests. It was a butler and somebody else who had a relationship with the Bushes, but she took someone else. I would have advised him. Nah, you doing too much. You stay seated.
He is right now. His own quote unquote supposed party is fractured beyond recognition. This would have been a big move for the Republican Party for him to just show his face at a former Republican president's wife's funeral.
And well-respected Republican.
That's very true.
That's very true. Well-respected. That's very true. Well-respected family. I mean, listen, Bush's whole name holds weight.
Yeah.
You just need to be there. You just need to be there, shake hands, kiss babies, be there, put on a good face, because it means something not only to the party, but just to the seat in the office and the times that we're in right now. You just need to be there.
Let me say this. I'm going to change some thoughts that I have about Donald J.
Okay.
And it's a little negative.
Why am I laughing?
And here's why. He is not as oblivious as we.
No, he is not.
He knows. And someone told him, like, dude, you have a way of making everything about you.
Yes.
You're going to have to sit your ass here. You cannot be pulling the Donald Trump grandstanding, grabbing people's hands, pulling them in. Dude, you just send the robot. Send the Slavic robot.
Nobody's going to ask her any questions.
Well, one time I had made goulash for the Prime Minister's cousin of Narnia. Like, she's a moron. But I love the fact that she sat next to Barack and she listened.
Yes.
Did you ever see? Look at this picture now.
Good time.
Listen. She was you ever see when somebody trying not to have a good time and be like, look, I cannot be out here and
giggling and
on my old girl. No. And Michelle like, baby, go finesse that hoe. Get these pictures. Let's get a news cycle for the next months.
You know Barack is putting that charm on.
You know it.
Hey, Melania, my daughter name is actually very close. Your name. So, but back in the day, I used to date my fair share of white women that looked a lot like you. And
one did not.
So Michelle's cool with it. She doesn't know. This marriage has been pretty much a sham. I don't know what to do with all that, black woman. I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna sit next to you because I know how to relate to moronic white women. You ever heard this joke?
Oh my God, y'all. Okay. Any more comments about this particular story?
Yeah, I just think, like Reggie said, the optics is definitely the optics. It's like, but he sent his wife. Can I be honest with you? Like Reggie said, it's amazing to me how chummy these people are. Very. They were at one point
at each other's throats.
Pelosi and Hillary.
Because it's all a game.
It's all a game. And they are chumming it up. Somebody that gave him a kidney. Somebody gave Herbert Walker a kidney.
Not just the kidney.
They giving him the melanin to keep him alive. But it's just funny to me, and we should look at that and go, why are we so quick to fracture our country over party lines when at any point in time they will get together, break bread, have fun, have a drink, swap wives. They would do whatever. They don't care. No, it's
all a part of the game.
It's all a part of the game.
And they know that.
And they know it.
It's Coke or it's Pepsi, man.
Yep.
It's red, it's blue. When you really go and look at how many things fall into
red or
one
blue.
Or the other.
Zeitgeist that's red or blue.
Nicki or Cardi.
Beyonce
and nobody, apparently. All right, other topic. Tiffany Haddish posted a video of her in a van with a bunch of friends and a heck of a lot of luggage and went off on TMZ. We have that video?
We do. I'm playing it now.
All right.
Let me tell you how fucked up this shit is out here, okay? I fly into LA. Fly into Los Angeles, LAX. TMZ standing there, like, with the camera. Want to take a picture. We got 13,000 bags, all right? The man standing up on the pillar, watching me and my girls, it's all of us, load this SUV up, this Escalade up all by ourselves. He stood there and watched us do it, holding the camera. Stood there and watched us. As soon as we finish, he gonna come over and be like, can I ask you some questions? If you don't get the fuck out of my face trying to ask some goddamn questions, you could have been helping us. I would have stood there and talked to your ass for 30, 45 minutes. I would have told you who the fuck been Beyonce. I'd have told you every motherfucking thing. You would have helped us with these heavy ass bags. You lazy motherfucker. I know your mama raised you better than that standing there. He stood up, leaned up against the wall next to the car and watched us. Bitch.
She's absolutely right. I feel her 1,000%. But it goes to what me and J. Cole was kind of speaking about in pre-pro. There's no training of these journalists or what we're calling journalists anymore. Listen, you can. What my grandmother used to say, you can catch all the bees with honey rather than vinegar. Like all he had to do was go help. Go, yeah, I got this, and I guarantee. After he did that, she would gave him a full interview, been cordial, been Tiffany Haddish. She would have Tiffany Haddish it up.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And you know what? Let me tell you something. You're absolutely right here on that point. And what's funny is, Trust may have seen me do it. I dropped this, like, let me help you here because this is the right thing to do. Set the camera down. And be like, no, Tiffany, go sit over there. I'm finna put this in. You a guy, and just load that luggage. You're like, hey, where you want to put this in?
Yes.
Hey, do you mind if I get 5 minutes of your time? Like, hell yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? And he would have listened. Like you said, you would have got the most on Tiffany Haddish.
Yes.
Now instead of that,
exactly.
you got the ire of Tiffany Haddish, who now anybody with TMZ. You mess with the agency. You mess with this news agency. Because from here on out, she be like TMZ. You know what I mean? Like, and she ain't gonna forget who that dude is.
She is never.
And it's like, the funny thing though about TMZ in LA, that was a job that I never did. I almost made porn. Not me, like Brandon. Not me, but filming. Yeah. I almost got into production because when you get to LA, no seriously, when you get to LA, it's only a few jobs that's readily available for you in production,
and bills need to get paid.
And one of them is pornography. The other is running around with a camera and trying to record celebrities and selling it to sites.
Yep.
Yikes.
And you got I got this footage. Like these guys, that's why you see them out. I knew guys, man, that had their camera in their hand, ready. I mean, it's sad. Like they go to restaurants and just sit out there because that's how they make their money.
Yikes.
And I just didn't like it. I just didn't want to be a vulture. You know what I mean? Because I actually have talent.
Exactly.
No, and I'm being serious. I actually have talent. And so this guy, he blew it and he messed up the organization. Yeah. And Levin should, he should really have a conversation with people that's working in the name of TMZ.
Yes.
To be like, hey fam, you got to do better. Like we got to, I know the stuff moves and you don't always get situations like that. But if you have the moment to take time and become friendly with them, and you know what I mean. Even though they're in transit, it pays.
It pays, and again, this speaks to the lack of training.
Yes.
The lack of just the lack of code. Like, listen, all you had to do was be a gentleman.
Yeah.
That's all you had to be. And you would have got the story that you desperately wanted, man.
I was going to say, like, it does touch on the topic of chivalry. Yeah. Like, listen, I use mass transit. You will not believe the number of men that will get on the bus before the women with young children. They won't get up for no seats. They don't hold no doors. Like, it's like, oh, my goodness. And this speaks to that culture, that you can sit and lean against the car and watch women put luggage on a car and not even offer to help.
Can we say this? Okay. If this was Nicole Kidman, if this was...
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I'm just being real.
You are.
If this was, I don't know, run-of-the-mill white lady, you think he's helping?
Yes, I absolutely do.
Okay.
Yes, I absolutely do. I hadn't even thought of that, but you are absolutely right. He would have put that camera down. He would have done exactly.
He would have done whatever he needed to do.
Yes.
Okay, that's all. He would have done whatever he. So treat Tiffany just like you would treat anybody else. You want to get the story, treat her just the same. Yeah.
Evan better teach them. Like, we're in the business of getting the interviews, fam. So you need to do this all the time because you need there'll be a repeat. You're gonna need to talk to Tiffany another time.
Next time Tiffany come through, she gonna be, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you though, I don't know if y'all ever watch TMZ. I don't watch it, but I've seen it. They're just as happy with celebrities snapping at them as they are with getting some kind of content. So they really give no fucks about that and will keep doing what they're doing. He probably got some kind of footage or something. I mean, if she really did call him a bitch, they're probably laughing about that and broadcasting it and saying ha ha, and then of course there's going to run into stereotypes, so they'll push that narrative.
No, so you're suggesting that he might have done this even deliberately
to
make her snap?
Well, no, he didn't do it. He didn't do it deliberately. He's stupid and didn't think about it. But he doesn't care is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Either way.
All right. Yikes.
Yeah, and to J. Cole's point, that's real. When this comes on, probably Monday, I don't know when they do TMZ, their show, they're probably going to spin it, and they're going to have a little discussion and probably talk about the stereotypes, should he have helped her, and all of that. They're going to actually use her footage as well.
She
just contributed to their content.
Yep.
All right, next and last story. It's prom season, y'all, and pictures go up of all your children looking amazing, and yay, my kid's going to prom. But there is a trend of dads taking pictures with their daughters.
Oh, that was
hey, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
Taking pictures with their daughters and their dates holding guns.
Stop being corny, fam. Listen, if it's my son, you hold a gun, I'm right there with, and we're gonna have some problems. We're gonna be talking. It ain't gonna be about the gun. We're gonna be talking. It's gonna be some furniture moving. Stop being corny. And stop playing with other people's kids. You think it's a joke. But I see black kids getting shot at all the time. Stop it. Let's just end it there. Stop it.
That's a great point.
It is.
That's a really great point. And I almost don't want to, this is what we do. We have counter arguments, but I do think that it speaks to America, and it's kind of grotesque that, hey, let's have a gun in a picture pointing at a human being. I don't care if it's down. I don't care. You have a gun in a picture with a human being. And, the funny thing about this is this went viral. But if you Google dad gun prom joke, this has been going on for decades. This has been going on for a long time. And it's like, what I find, and I want to say this, what I find to be disturbing? All these dudes with these guns pointed at these dudes fuck somebody's mama.
Exactly. Okay, I'm about to get there.
Let's go get it.
This comes from the culture of men all of a sudden wanting to protect women when you have a daughter.
Yes.
You was being a fuckboy and screwing over bitches. Excuse me, I'm sorry, triggered.
No, but really.
The whole life, but now you get a daughter, and now you see women as human beings rather than objects, and that is what is the most disgusting part of the entire thing.
Do you see it as a human being or just a possession? Because
it could be property.
This is my possession.
I'm protecting property.
My daughter, because he ain't doing it for anybody else's daughter. You ain't gonna treat my daughter like this. And listen, Jay. Whether you got the gun or not, she's still fucking fam. So whether you put the gun on him or not, if she decides she wants to, she's going to. You ain't stopping it. So stop the charades and stop. Listen, we gotta stop this overly masculine. Because you ain't doing it to the, you know what you're doing for your son? Hey, here's a condom.
That's right.
Here's a condom. That's the only amount of protection that you're giving for your son.
That's right.
You ain't saying, hey, you're going to treat her with respect.
That's
you just say, hey, man, here's a condom. I know how you guys get down. So stop.
Here's the other part of that. You not actually going to shoot him. You not. In which case, he now has lost respect for you because you threatened him and you not going to carry it.
I was raised, if you're going to pull the thing out, you better use it. And don't pull the thing unless you're playing the bang, man. So that's how I live, man.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna be real honest with you. We just watched the show called On My Block, right?
Yes.
Where he pulled the gun out, had him on the floor, and he's like, "Man, fam, don't do it." And he's like, "Hey, look, I'm not gonna do it. We're gonna make it look like it." And guess what happened?
Yes.
You put a gun in my face.
Yes.
I'm coming for
you.
Yes.
And listen, that's real life.
That is real life.
That's real. Oh, you didn't kill me? You a dead man.
I know. Listen, I know. There's a guy sitting in jail right now. One of my classmates. He got a gun pulled out on him at the gas station. You know what he decided to do? They kind of broke up. He decided to track him down. He murdered him.
Oh God!
This is real.
Oh Lord!
Play around with you. Play around if you want to.
What in the world?
A shotgun.
And this is, listen. Who sent their black boy? Who sent their black child to be treated like this? I would have pulled up at Jose's house. Me and Jose, we would have had a conversation, and it would have been my hands in his fucking teeth. You ain't pulling out no gun on my son. He's gonna treat your daughter right. You ain't gonna treat him like a criminal.
Yo, that's and look, and I made sure
that
we put this picture in because this ain't just a white thing.
Nah,
this is it. Look at this. Look at this.
I can't look at it.
He got a shot and assault.
Pointed at him.
And she's like, yeah. And you know what? You giving a handy J in the limo. You doing that.
Yes.
You doing that. Like this whole it's gross.
It's
all
gross.
The way around.
It is.
It's gross.
It's disgusting.
Like,
man.
You got to know who your kids are before you start pulling pistols.
I do want to ask a question. Did you or did you not laugh at the scene in Bad Boys 2?
All right, I've had this discussion. Yes, I laughed at the scene in Bad. You know what? I was 15. I was 15, and I thought, you know what? Me and my guy, man, when I have a daughter, this is what we gonna do. You know what? I grew up, and I was like, nah, man, this is kind of ridiculous. I ain't gotta intimidate no dude. He gonna know just from being around. Hey, treat her right, treat her with respect. Like whatever y'all got to do, whatever y'all do. I'm not gonna be that type of parent where you're gonna be afraid to talk to me. It's just not gonna happen.
Because at the end of the day, if she come to me and says, "Dad, I told him no." Wait, you what?
Exactly.
Wait. What happened? We were hanging out and this and that, and he got really handsy and aggressive. I told him no, and it went someplace that then it's a whole nother conversation. But let me be honest with you. Need some hoes out here in my bloodline. And if somebody like you in control of the situation, yeah, I mean I gave the box. And it's like, well, I mean, I can't be pulling out no gun.
Nope.
If I'm gonna put a gun on somebody, it's my own. Hey, keep your legs closed, nigga. Like, don't bring home no babies. Don't bring in no babies. Don't be having no prom dumpster baby that you gotta throw away because you want to bang the white boy and you know you can't bring that baby here. So now that baby gotta be picked up by some Pakistani family now because he looks Middle Eastern and live with them now.
It's just all bad. Using violence as escalation. Okay, to try to get somebody to do something you want to do, rather than, as you're saying, you talk to your daughter about these things, and if some boy having conversations with him, it's all using violence to control. Like it's the American way. Why am I tripping?
Yeah, right. It's our love affair with
it's
guns,
the American way.
Our love affair with sexism and
it's so much happening.
It's so much going on, man.
It's racism.
Yeah,
it's a lot going on. Look at this guy. He's a cop.
Yeah.
Macho.
Man, listen, and I'm gonna be honest with you. You couldn't do that to 18-year-old Reggie. 18-year-old Reggie, as soon as the gun would have came out, has been like, yo, what we doing? What we doing? Like, wait a minute.
18-year-old Ravo, very clear. Hey, fuck you and your dad. Yes. See you when I see you. I'm bouncing. You ain't pulling.
Ooh, she crying after that.
Yes.
She crying after that.
Pistol out on me.
Well, he wasn't shit. That's why he left. Like that's exactly how that conversation would have went. Whew. What a show. How long was this show today? No.
1 hour 40 minutes later.
Well, it's a wrap for us folks here at the Sunday edition. I've had the Reggie Mathis here and the Revolution and J-Co Is It back there on production and including Ralphie Martz. That's his handle, yes, on Twitter. Ralphie Martz was also a contributor in today's episode. I think that was his debut on the Sunday edition, yes?
Yes.
So yay to Ralphie. All right, so tonight we do have Speak On It at 7 p.m. Which is right now. Talking all things relationships. I think they're talking about how to keep a good woman for men today. How to keep a woman. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Go get a snack, use the bathroom, whatever you gotta do, and come back to watch Nikila Shannon and Mr. Majors. This has been another episode of the Sunday edition. Share it with your friends, retweet it, like it, do all those things. Let people get on the conversation. And we appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much, and we will see you all next time.